Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Life Strategy Show. Well, tonight, I always say we have a treat for you, but tonight we really have a treat for you. I have some phenomenal women with me that's going to be talking about the gut. I know we've all had a great Thanksgiving, and depending on what we've eaten, we need to make sure that we keep a healthy gut. I am your show host, Maxine Phillips McKoy. The Life Strategy Show is all about bringing guests on to share with us strategies that they have put in place that they're currently using that has gotten them to where they are today. Levelist is all about knowing your worth, advocating for yourself, and succeeding on your terms. So you might ask, what does diabetes have to do with life strategies? Well, the thing about it is that we must have a lifestyle and put something in place so that we can maintain our health. Because I have a quote that says, career is a lifetime, but life is a project. And that project is to maintain our health. So tonight, as we talk about November is diabetes month. And so that is the reason why I have focused November on diabetes. And I lost several family members to it, my husband, my mother, a sister, and it's a silent killer. So rather than to be a silent killer, let's talk about it, and let's talk about the effects that it has on the body. So I have with me this evening, I want you to connect with someone, talk to them, share with them, connect with them, tell them come on and join this show and listen to the Gut Patrol and the influencers. And at the helm of all of this is Peggy Tatum. Let's bring Peggy up. She's coming in, and Peggy is the connector. She has the connection place, and she has TCP magazine. And if you don't know, if you let's put it like this: if you need to know someone, you better get to know Peggy, because Peggy is definitely the connector. So, Peggy, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, doing well. And thank you, Maxine, for inviting us back to talk about the Gut Patrol doing this month, especially since it's affiliated with diabetes.
Yes.
And we just finished Thanksgiving, just like you said. So we brought some of the team along tonight so we could talk about it and tell you some of the things we're doing on the Gut Patrol.
Excellent, excellent. I understand we have like 4 or 5 phenomenal powerhouses with us this evening. So let's have a producer to bring the guests up. Let's go on and bring them up. All right. As opposed to doing it one at a time. That way we can start getting engaged in the conversation. All right, let's see. Because connections with all this digital connections, we have to have time for it to connect. There's Miss Gail. Okay. We got Dr. Teresa coming in. Adretta's coming in, and I think we're gonna have Amanda is coming in. Look at, ladies and gentlemen, look at these powerhouses sitting in front of us. Yay!
Yay!
There we are. Look at this. Look at this. So, Peggy,
Yes.
Gut Patrol, we know it's all about the gut. And I thank you so much for taking on this initiative. So tell the audience how you really got started in this. What caused you? I know you have a little partner in crime with you this evening as well, but you get us started, and then we can go to each of the ladies and let them introduce themselves.
Okay. Now, Maxine, as I tell the story, I was at home tending to my own business during COVID, right? That was the time we had a chance to relax and stop some of the ripping and running. And I just happened to see on Facebook someone that was ranting about our population not taking care of themselves and how things start. And it was all dealing with the gut and how we eat. And so that little lady named Amanda, who was also a part of the Female Pastors Fellowship, which is an organization under the Connection Place, I invited her to come. I said, come talk to the ladies, because we would meet at lunch. And you know what? You're part of the group too. And so Amanda agreed to come and talk to us about it. But she said, can I bring some of the doctors that she worked with, because she worked at Duke? And I said, sure. So she came, and they gave us education about colorectal cancer awareness. And they thought we'd be a good partner just to educate the community. And so we went through the process and we got this grant established. And for the last year, we've just been educating the community on colorectal cancer awareness and about healthy eating. Now, we named the project the Gut Patrol. Now, how that all came about, we wrote this grant in the last minute. They said, "What's the name of your project?" And since I'm a grandmother taking care of a 2-year-old at the time and watching cartoons, I said, "The Gut Patrol." Paw Patrol, Gut Patrol. So that's how that name came about, with no trademark infringement on it. So it's been a joy, and we just had people to connect with us that could see the vision, and those are some of the influencers we have with us tonight that specialize in different things, and we've just been on a roll, just on a roll, and we know that it's God given when everything just falls in place.
Yes,
So
it is. Yes, it is. And it's a divine order. And you know, and
mhm,
the beautiful thing about it is I think all of us sitting here, we accepted our assignment. And
mhm,
you accepted this assignment. You know,
yes.
so you didn't hesitate when you saw it. I love the fact that instantaneously it was dropped into your spirit. Gut patrol, Paw Patrol, Gut Patrol. I love that. And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to patrol our health. You know,
Mhm,
what's going on in our bodies and pay attention to it. So this is a perfect opportunity to talk about what goes on in the gut. And Amanda's going to tell us because there are two guts. You know,
mhm.
a lot of people don't realize that they have two guts. And so, Amanda, why don't you chime in a little bit and tell us how did you help Miss Peggy continue moving this gut patrol forward?
Okay, so yeah, Peggy always tell the story so beautifully, and and so I support the Gut Patrol just by bringing information in as it relates to gastrointestinal diseases and disorders and things like that. And since we're touching on diabetes and the gut, there's a condition called gastrophoresis, and how diabetes affect your stomach. The stomach muscles, move food through, and when you have gastrophoresis, or excuse me, diabetes, it kind of slows those muscles down, and food doesn't absorb through the stomach or doesn't transfer through the stomach as well, and so it causes malnutrition. It affects how insulin is dumped into the small intestines and all of that. So it's a great connector, with what we're talking about, touching on diabetes and gastrointestinal disorders. And so that's one of the main ones is gastrophoresis. It's just the slowing down of the muscles in the stomach, and diabetes affect that. So you talked about the two guts. um, we have the natural gut that we think about, the stomach and the whole gastro, I mean the canal from the mouth to the rectum to the anus. And then the other gut is, I mean, like, your mind. It's like how we see food, how we, you know, um, you know, advertisers use, visual effects to, get your taste buds moving. The Big Mac commercials, and your mind already thinking like, oh God, it's gonna taste so good when I eat it. All those commercials are geared to start stimulating your mind to think, I want to taste that, I want to eat that, you know. So that's how we kind of got connected. Me bringing information in, as it relates to what we're doing, at the healthcare center with research, and just kind of making people aware. I mean, I just got really tired of seeing our people, especially like our young folks, dealing with diseases and disorders that they didn't have to deal with years ago. you know. And then when Chadwick Boseman died, it was just like crushing, that this young, talented guy um, has died because of, colon cancer. And so that prompted me to, just really go out there and just pour my heart out, and just so thankful that, Peggy saw it, and, we were able to, make that connection, and connect with all these other lovely ladies to bring, more information to, to the public.
I think that's awesome because one of the things I used to talk about from the diabetes perspective is that, that brain up here, has to connect with the brain down here in order for them to understand and start working together, because many times we're already full. But if we've eaten too fast and the food has not digested, then your gut brain has not connected with the top brain. And so you're
Right.
overeating.
Right, exactly. And my microwave is going off, so if you hear that beep, that's what that is.
Oh, okay. So you have some good food in there warming up for you. That's
Just warming up some water that has some tea.
Oh, okay. All right. So if you want to step away and do it, you can. But yeah, so you got the top brain, that has not connected with your gut brain, and so therefore we have a tendency to overeat when that happens, and also the insulin. You forces the body to have to produce more insulin because you've fed it too much carbs or you've given it too much food, and then the body has to respond. It might not respond fast enough, and a lot of times that's why that type 2 can easily creep up on us. Well, as Amanda left us for just for a moment, so Peggy, introduce the rest of the ladies that we have here with us, our influencers.
Okay, let me introduce you to them, and I want each one of them to tell a little bit about what they do. And from my point of view, we go all the way down to Noonan, Georgia. We have Dr. Gail Jones.
Okay.
And Dr. Gail Jones, she has diabetes running her family. And so she's going to talk a little bit about that. After that, we're going to go over to Audretta. She's our in-house nutritionist or nutrition counselor. And she's going to talk with us. And then Dr. Teresa Smith. This is the lady that can cook her, off. And she's got a wonderful story, and she does a cooking show on the Gut Patrol Facebook page. So let's start off with Dr. Gail Jones, and then we'll toss it to Dretta, and then to Dr. Teresa. Okay?
All right. Greetings from Noonan, Georgia. I go by Dr. Gail when I'm dealing with my clients. My role is pretty much I talk about gut wisdom. So what I'm trying to do is connect the two guts, if you will. So my focus around is how the digestive system works, and also giving people practical tips to help them keep a healthy gut. And as you know, Maxine, a lot of it has to do with belief systems about if my father had it, that means I had it. My father actually passed away from complications with diabetes. I personally chose that was not going to happen to me. And so while we have all this education and knowledge available to us, a lot of it has to do with what we believe to be true. So what I do with my clients is I talk to them about the beliefs that get in their way, that keep them from having a life that they love. So for me, it's the same for Amanda. It's like I'm tired of seeing my people get sick because we don't ask questions. The doctor doesn't ask questions. And I want people to care more about their health than anybody, because after all, it is my responsibility to take care of this body that the Lord has given me.
Woo. Listen now, don't y'all get me started, because I'll be up here shouting before it's all over with. Because that's exactly right. He's given us this body. It's our temple, and it's up to us to make sure that we keep it healthy. I always say it's like a machine. It's like a car. If you don't put gas in, it's going to shut down on you. You don't put oil in, it's going to shut down on you. If you don't get it service and maintenance, it's going to shut down on you. And it's the same way with the body. The body would do the same things. All right. So I think Peggy said she was tossing it over to Audretta.
Yes, but look, I want to tell you, Maxine, we've got 3 ministers in this group. So
well, we might be shouting before the night is over. I done told y'all better connect with somebody. You better go out there and call them and tell them, hey, they need to chime in and listen to this. And not only that, get your questions ready. The ladies have so much knowledge and wisdom to share with us. I mean, I can ask all the questions, but why should it be me? You ask the questions so we can address what you have a need for. All right, so let me be quiet for a second. Let's let Miss Andretta go.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for having me on here. I just want to let you know that for me, this journey started in about 2006 when I lost the fifth relative to complications from the intestinal tract. And we're sitting at the funeral, and the coroner said, "The death of your body begins in the colon." And I'm looking at all my relatives. We're looking exactly alike, and we're eating the same food and dying from the same diseases. And that's when God made the connection that your gut health is the most important. So I stopped at that point. I was 284 pounds, always trying to lose weight, trying to do different things. And I said, well, it looks like I'm gonna need to get my gut in order to live. So just by concentrating on gut health, I lost 100 pounds. Who knew? I learned so much about the gut, that your gut's your second brain. It has as many neurons in your intestines as it does in your brain. That complications from diabetes, high blood pressure, um, what do you call it, acid reflux, and migraines is all associated with having a sluggish or non moving digestive tract. So once I got everything moving, I started teaching all my friends. And I'm a strategist as well. We just had a group of women. We mapped out 8 overeating occasions. Actually, there's 9 overeating occasions. And we just paid attention to what we ate in between all those overeating occasions. Each one of them lost anywhere from 15 to 25 pounds just so we can enjoy the 8th overeating occasion of the year, which is Thanksgiving. So now we're on a 28-day binge to get ready for the 9th overeating occasion, which is Christmas. So we kept it focused. It's a strategy. We do like to eat, but we do also want to make sure that we're taking care of our health in that way. So I became a certified nutritional counselor throughout the process of looking into gut health, and that's been my contribution. I'm an influencer. I give little tips. I give strategies as well. So I was very excited when you said that, doctor. So thank you guys again for having me on the show.
Next.
All righty. Thank you, Maxine. It's so good to see you again, even though it's virtually. And thank you, Peggy, and thank you, Amanda, for this opportunity to be a part of the Gut Patrol. My story started a long time ago in that years ago, I worked in gastroenterology, or GI, as I like to say, at UNC Hospital. And I never thought, fast forward a couple of decades, that I'd be sitting here as a person who has lived experiences. My story is that basically I went a whole year without being diagnosed with Graves' disease. And once I was finally diagnosed, we radiated my thyroid, but then we couldn't stop the weight gain. And as the weight continued to increase, I was the largest that I'd ever been. So, of course, you can imagine that I had elevated liver enzymes, had fatty liver. I was pre-diabetic, sleep apnea. And so my endocrinologist suggested gastric sleeve surgery to me. And I said to her, have you had success? Because we tried all these other different things to help me to lose weight after the diagnosis, but I just couldn't lose any weight. And so, sure enough, she said yes. And so we decided that that was the route for me to go because of all of the comorbid illnesses that were threatening my life. And so we decided to have the gastric sleeve surgery. But my role here is, okay, now you've got lived experience. How are you going to take everything that you know and make sure that the two brains actually meet? They got to meet up and become partners. And so because of the gastric sleeve surgery, I now am forced to eat small meals. Prior to then, I was eating 5 to 6 small meals a day, but they are much smaller now. And so for me, it's about, because my meals are so small and I must eat protein first, how do I make sure that what I'm eating is healthy, first of all, but tasty, because I only get a couple of bites. And so what I'm doing is I'm looking at those recipes that we really, really love, including the sweet potato pie, or since we just had Thanksgiving, sweet potato pie, um, the broccoli casserole, or the macaroni and cheese. How do you change that into a healthier version so that we know that we don't want to deny ourselves, but can I eat in moderation, but it be healthier? And so that's what I'm focused on. Knowing that I was pre-diabetic prior to the surgery, Yeah, the surgery is not a cure-all. I want to make sure that my body continues to, as you say, it's like a car, that it continues to move and doesn't fail me over the next 50 years. You know, we're going to claim 50 more years. And so that's what my focus is as far as my cooking show that I do on Fridays in our Gut Patrol group.
That is so awesome to hear, because when I was diagnosed back in 2008, I had to learn how to cook as well. I had to change out ingredients in order to make the food healthy. And it's a lifestyle change, you know. So I tell my clients, don't go on a diet.
Yeah.
Diets are not healthy for you. You need to eat for your body, and what everybody else eats might not be good for you. It might not work for you. So you have to understand what works best for your body. And so I loved it when you said, so well, I'm gonna have to chime in on these Thursdays and these Fridays and listen to you cook, because I do the same thing. I call it food exchange.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just change different ingredients
Exactly.
in order for it to work for your body. So I absolutely love that. You know, you talk about diabetes and we talk about the gut. And there's about 37 million people who are diagnosed as a diabetic. 37 million. And that's like about 11% of the population, the US population. So I got all these stats from the American Diabetes Association, right? And the CDC as well. But there are 8.5 million that have gone undiagnosed. That's a silent killer right there. You know, and that can happen, you know, that's a diabetic, but what about the gut? What about the colon cancer? That can go undiagnosed as well, because you got things that's going on inside the body, and that's why we have to pay attention. So what are some of the strategies, ladies, that you all are putting in place that can help our viewing audience? This is just a question for anyone to chime in on.
Well, I'll go. One of the strategies I have is to make sure that we're soothing our gut first thing in the morning. I have the people that follow me. I have a group that meets every Monday night, and we do a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, just to soothe the digestive tract and the to make sure that we're getting our gut flora in proper order. So they know all the foods that actually add good bacteria to your system. You actually need good bacteria to digest milk, and different things. So one of the ways to know that your system is out of order is when you can't tolerate certain foods anymore. So we really are strategizing on making sure that
Mm.
gut health in control.
And so that was 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon of olive oil. What did you say?
1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon.
Mhm.
Okay. Extra virgin. All right, that extra virgin, that's the healthier version of the olive oil. So y'all have to pay attention. Listen, take notes while we're talking now. This is wisdom. These are platinum nuggets that's being dropped tonight. So don't let this bypass you. Okay, who else? Another strategy that you put it in place.
Pearl, I want to share this one. This is going to be real old school. It's going to be real quick, Dr. Gail. I monitor my bowel movements.
Okay.
I monitor them. You know, I had an incident to happen some years back where my bowels ripped because of adhesions, and so I had to have surgery. And so I monitor my bowel movements, and so I add additional fiber. I just happen to use Benefiber. I add it every day, but even that doesn't always keep me regular. And so I had an incident that happened a week or so ago. I realized I had used the bathroom. And so I grabbed some prunes. Normally I can eat prunes. I don't mind prunes. I don't dislike them. But I said, let's go real old school. So I simmered them so that I made prune juice. Like my
Mm.
mother used to do years ago when I was a little girl, and I guess I couldn't use the bathroom then either. And so I simmered them. And so then what I did was I made sure when I drank the prune juice, it was warm or as hot as I could take it. And then my bowels moved. You know, it's old school, but it was basically natural for me. You know, it was just prunes that I just put in some water, let them steep, drank the juice. And so I throw that out there. You know, some things never, we think that, oh, you shouldn't do that anymore, but the prune juice worked and it was natural. But monitor your bowel movements though. Know
Yeah.
your body's rhythm. If you're a person that uses the bathroom every day and then you don't, or every couple of days and then you don't, then you need to start investigating that to see what's going on.
And I love the fact that you're talking about the waste product, because I think
Yeah.
Dr. Oz, he talked about even once you do have a bowel movement, look back at it. Don't
Yes.
flush the toilet without looking at it. Look at it.
Yeah.
It needs to
Yeah.
have an S curve, a C curve. The color needs to be there. So he talked about all of that. And many times we don't even want to look at it. We
Right. Right.
get it out of our view, but it's important that you do, because that's where you can detect if there's blood in the bowel. If it's constantly loose, what's causing it to be constantly loose, or what are you noticing that's in the bowel as you're releasing it? Because there could be worms, without even realizing. We hate to say it, but the body does sometimes have worms in it. So you need to be aware that that's going on. So I'm glad that you brought that up, and pay attention to how many bowel movements and when they occur.
Yeah.
Pay attention when it happens as well, because believe it or not, we can carry that extra weight that you think you have on the
Mm-hmm.
scale is not
Mm-hmm.
really fat in the body, but it's waste in the colon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies.
Yes, ma'am. You are very much right. It can be anywhere from 2 to 5 pounds, believe it or not. A
Yeah.
good bowel movement can help you drop that much. And I just like to kind of continue with what Dr. Smith was talking about. One of the things that I'm learning as I'm learning to manage my own health is that our ancestors may not have known the why, but the what
Yes.
still works. And so, paying attention to your bowel movements, and there's actually something called the Bristol chart. That's Bristol. It will show you what's a good, Amanda, you know what I'm talking about. It will show you what's good. And then if your bowel looks like a certain way, that you may have inflammation or whatever. So from a gut wisdom, which is what I do for the gut patrol, we haven't gotten to that part yet. Elimination is so critical, which is why today on Gut Wisdom, I said, give your digestive system a break. And if you are still carrying that sweet potato pie you ate on Thursday, you need to think about how you can get it out of your system, right, Dr. Smith? Because it's fermenting all that sugar. It's just not good for you. So one other possible remedy for that is something called CALM, CALM, and it's magnesium, which most of us don't have enough magnesium in our system. And so what I do is I take a little calm every night. It does two things. One, it calms your system, because we know stress is a big piece of what keeps our digestive system all messed up. And it helps you have good bowel movements. So calm, CALM, you can get it. It's you can get it any drugstore. You can get it at the grocery store, and the directions are on it. And again, it will help you not only relax, but it will also help you have good bowel movements in the morning.
Oh my gracious. I love the word calm right there. Just put a piece across you to begin with, and then two, you talked about the magnesium, and magnesium and what's the other, not calcium, but vitamin D3. Many times we're deficient in vitamin D3, and those two vitamins right there are the ones that help the heart to regulate. So we have to make sure that we're up on that, and then we need to be up on all of it. But if you're talking about healthy heart, you need that D3 and that magnesium. Excellent. I love that. Calm. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, are you writing these platinum nuggets down? That's what I want to know. Let's see. Do we have anybody with a question? Any questions? Let me see. Do we have any questions? Any comments? All right. So, okay. Not
Look, I want to say something.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Look, you all were talking down Amanda's line when you were talking about poop. The many places we went this year, she was talking about poop. We were in church at a conference, and I had to ask the pastor, was it okay if she talked about poop? That's my little poop girl.
Yeah.
So I know she was so excited when you all started talking about poop and elimination. You should have seen her face.
Because many times, Peggy, we don't talk about the poop. We act like it's a word that we're ashamed of, but it's an elimination in the body, and that's where the waste products are eliminated after you've eaten and the nutrients have been released in the body. But you have to get the waste products out, and if not, you got that toxic system going on. So yeah, that poop is very important. Now listen, it reminded me when I was a little girl, my mother used to make sure either right after Christmas, I think it was, we had to take castor oil. Castor oil to make sure that she cleansed our system out from all of that food that we ate during these, like you say, these 9 occasion holidays. And so those old remedies still work. I take her liver oil to this day because I took it as a little girl, so I still take it, and it keeps the body healthy. All right, so listen, you all are getting some platinum strategies here. Make sure you write them down. We're going to ask questions afterwards. All right, another strategy that we can give our viewing audience.
Yeah, I was going to say, in addition to all those things, is just making sure you have a good amount of water daily. It's recommended that you drink 8-ounce cups of water per day. And, if you're exercising or working out or doing a whole lot of strenuous stuff, you want to increase that. And you also want to, if you have other conditions that limit your amount of water, make sure you're taking something that has a lot of fiber in it to, help you get things out of your body. So, water is, a key element in things that you should take. I like taking like a little, Metamucil or Miralax, and it's okay to take that to soften your stools and to, keep yourself regular. Dr. Smith, she mentioned, prune juice. You can also use raisins, black molasses, maple syrup. Those things like there are natural ways you can, eliminate stuff out of your colon. And yeah, poop is down. I'm the poopologist.
That's okay. We need a poopologist. It's all right. But you know what? What you're doing is you're helping us to maintain our health. That's what you're helping us to do that, because if we don't poop, we're going to really be sick.
We are.
All those toxins in our body, and it's fermenting in the colon, and it's causing everything else to have. It has havoc on the body. That's where a lot of inflammation, diseases all start at the colon. What was the quote that you gave earlier? Somebody gave an excellent quote.
Yeah.
Begins in your colon.
Yeah.
Like I was reading an article, and they said it actually begins at the dinner table. So, what we're putting before our family, that's where disease starts. Like, eating all of those sweets over the holidays, and, and you still haven't had a healthy bowel movement. Yeah. You should have eliminated.
Yeah. Time to take a look.
Yeah.
You know what? I love what Dr. Smith said about the prune juice, because I have to keep things as more organic as possible.
Right.
Because I'm allergic to preservatives. The least little spice or natural flavorings or whatever, I don't know what that is. And if they don't identify what it is, I can't have it. But if I know the prunes are pure, organic prunes, and I can make my own prune juice. I never thought about making my own prune juice, but I like that idea.
Yeah.
That way you have it on hand. Right. You don't have to wait and go to the store. You can create it and then keep it in. I'm assuming it might last maybe a week or two in the refrigerator. Okay. Yeah. And so that way you already have it on hand. Excellent.
And they have made prunes so convenient for you. Like they have like individual wrap prunes, and you just pop it in your purse and, eat them in place of candy.
Yes.
Figs is another thing, that we can add to our diet. All of those, fruit and vegetables, those things, because our body can't digest the plant, it uses as roughage to flush our colon out. So that's why it's, so important to eat a healthy amount of vegetables, fruit and vegetables, daily, because, our body can't break down the cellular structure of a plant, but, those things help us with elimination.
And not only does it help with elimination, but if you encase it with a balanced meal, you have your vegetables, you have your fruit, you have your protein, you have your carb. It keeps the carb from breaking down and going down, being converted into pure sugar. It takes it longer to break down, and therefore it keeps the blood sugar levels from spiking up. And so that's another reason why to eat a healthy meal, and in moderation, because you're not overloading your system. and the body has an opportunity to what, break the food down, use the portions that it needs, and then eliminate. You talked about water, Amanda, and you talked about 6 to 8 glasses. And so the thing about water is the fact that what if your body is eliminating so much water? That's a clue. That's a sign that you might have diabetes, because that frequent urination. And not only that, if you're releasing too much fluid, then therefore is keeping the bowels from being lubricated in order for it to be eliminated. So you got all these things that need to work together, with the gut. So we need that water to replace, and also to keep our skin nice and perky.
Yes.
Our hair growing and our nails, so all of this plays a part. This is that machine that we're talking about. All
Yeah.
right.
I'd like to talk a little bit about something I think Amanda said, is that it really starts at the table.
Come on.
One of the things to recognize is our food supply has changed very much from what it was 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. My grandmother lived to be 100. Okay. So one of the things that I'm clear about is, while she ate pork and all this other stuff, she had a garden. She raised her own chickens. We raised our own pork. And so part of it for us is to really get smart at reading labels, understanding what is in our food, and understanding and listening to our body when something's not setting right with us. And so I like to tell people to eat closest to its natural state
As possible.
as possible, because all this processed food, and like I heard you say, you can't do preservatives and stuff, it's just wreaking havoc on our digestive system. And it takes intention to do that. People say, oh, well, it costs too much or whatever, but we've got all of these farmers markets and other people, and hey, call it what it will. I believe at some point we will have to supply our own food. Okay. And if we want to continue to stay healthy and to really eat stuff that's good and that our body can use. So I just wanted to make that point around that our food supply has changed dramatically over the years, and becoming aware of that and becoming masters at label reading and knowing exactly what we're putting into our mouth.
I'm going to applaud you on that, because that is exactly what I had to do back in 2012, 13, 14, because I kept getting sick and didn't know why I was becoming ill until I started keeping a food diary. And that food diary then led me down this path to say, okay, this is what's causing it, these ingredients. And I had to steer away from those ingredients. I even did a 5-page white paper on it. I never published it. Because the Food and Drug Administration have restrictions, right? They're not going to tell you certain things are in foods unless it's pure. If it's not pure, then they can camouflage it with words like spices, natural flavoring, low fat, no fat, And so, once I found all of that out, that's when I start healing my own body, because the medical professions, I told them what was happening, but not all the time do they believe you. And so that's one of the reasons why I would say know your body better than your doctor, because your doctor has to take what you're telling them and then start evaluating, diagnosing whatever they feel like the situation is. But you have to be an advocate for yourself. So I agree. Read those labels, read those ingredients. There's nothing that when in the store, it takes me longer to grocery shop, right? Because you know what I'm doing. I'm reading every label. I'm reading all the ingredients. And I tell everybody, if you can't pronounce those ingredients, don't even try to purchase it. You might as well bypass it and let it go. And even if it says organic, still look at what the ingredients are. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Yeah. And Miss Maxine, I'm getting into farming now, and I'm learning that, even when something says it's organic, the FDA says, it has to meet a certain criteria in order for you to stamp that label on there.
Right.
So, can be grown completely organic, just using no herbicides or anything like that. But then, there can be some chemical in there,
Right.
So the only way that you can truly know, well, I won't say truly know, because then you have to go get some heirloom seeds, that haven't been, contaminated with, herbicides or
Right.
other stuff. So is to grow your own vegetables, and a pack of seeds costs you, less than $5, and you get like a whole uh cornucopia of, vegetables, and you can freeze them or can them and things like that. So that's the only way you can almost truly guarantee that you're eating organic food, is if you grew it yourself.
Yeah. And it was my understanding that any food that you decide that you're going to eat the peel of, it definitely needs to be organic as much as possible. And I have to make sure that I not only wash it, but I wash it in vinegar water, because vinegar water helps the wax to come to the surface. As you can see that whiteness or dull looking wax over the fruit, then that way I know I got to peel it. I can't eat the peel, because
Yeah.
even the peel will cause me to go into a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
People don't
I'm
know that
sorry.
skin of a tomato, it's not good for you to eat the skin of a tomato, because the skin is actually what keeps the bug repellent, and it is hard on your digestive tract. When I say I've studied the digestive tract,
Yeah.
it heals itself every 10 to 15 days. You have what we call a leaky gut. So
Yes.
processing meat, processing cheese, alcohol, these causes just the chemical reaction of breaking down those foods pokes holes in the lining of your intestines. But by the grace of God, because every 10 to 15 days, the lining of your intestine replaces itself. So all you got to do 10 or 15 days without alcohol, cheese, meat, drink bone broth, celery. These are the things, and of course, that extra virgin olive oil. These are things that help heal and soothe your digestive tract, and you can get a start all over again with getting
Mhm.
your gut health.
Right. And
Uh,
eating
yeah.
those things also cause polyps to form in your intestines.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I love you went back to that olive oil, because I got to start doing that in the mornings, because again, it makes me think of a car. Your
Mm-hmm.
lubrication, you got to put oil in it. My mother used to give us not only cod liver oil, but mineral oil. She
Mm-hmm.
used to give us mineral oil, and that will also keep the body, to help the body to eliminate waste without a problem,
Yep.
soften the stool. We've gotten away from all of that,
mhm.
because we're looking at all this modernization and all this technology and all this GMO, you
Yeah.
know, you know,
Yeah.
genetically modified things. I had to even give up corn, because corn is not healthy for you. And at no stage is it healthy for you. And I didn't realize that. I love popcorn. That's my weakness, is popcorn. But my
Right.
body doesn't like it, and definitely the colon does not like it. Okay, so what other strategies?
I want to throw in like exercise, getting up, walking. I know it's getting colder outside, but picking the warmest time of the day to walk, or just bundling up and walking. That helps with elimination. You don't have to walk and do a whole lot of strenuous stuff, but getting out, walking, walking maybe a mile or half mile. Do it daily. Walk, park, the furthest distance from the store and
Hmm.
walk, and that helps, with elimination.
Yeah,
Exercise does.
Yes, very much so.
yeah,
Also,
Very much so.
period. If I get up in the morning, if I don't eliminate, if there's been no solid output, I don't put any solid input. So no solid
Mm.
get up in the morning, then it's a cup of hot broth. And then same thing for lunch. If I haven't gone by lunchtime, then it's some more hot broth. So you can watch. If you hadn't had enough, let's say, what's the difference between a river and a swamp? River flows
flow.
life. Swamp. So if it ain't moving, it's piling up, and it's becoming fermented. So you want to keep going, but again, you can watch it. You can become overpacked, overworked, by just keeping putting in, and nothing's coming out.
Wow, this is good. This
Definitely.
is good info.
Okay, I got something. I'm not as smart as they are, but I got something.
What you got? What you got?
Yeah.
What you got? Come on with it.
Now, two things I want to mention. The first one is Dr. Gail and I and a few others on Saturday mornings, we meet with Dr. Ko. He's an acupressure doctor. And for 30 minutes, he gives us tips and different things on pain management. Now, one of the things that he told us to do, and I put in my chat here, I want to tell you about a poor man's laxative. So if you can't afford the oil, or if you can't afford any of this other stuff they're talking about, if you got your hands, Gail, I don't know if you remember this one or not. And I may have to stand up a little bit because I want you to see it.
Go ahead. Come on.
All right, let's see. Well, somewhere under this black here, there's a navel right here.
Uh-huh.
And your stomach is right down here.
Correct.
He says to take your hands, turn them to the inside like this, and pound each side of your stomach. So you've done that before, Teresa? I see you shaking your head.
No, but I was going to say the massaging and the stretching would help you to begin to loosen up some. And so that's basically what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And he also said to, turn your head from left to right. Well, you can't see my head, can you?
That's okay, but we know what you're doing.
But turn your head from left to right. And it loosens up the stomach. And when I tried it, I'm like, ooh, wow. Hey, it works.
And like you said, I mean, not only that is movement. Is you're in tune with your body, and you're exercising and massaging your own stomach, and you're getting the food to start moving from the stomach down to the colon so they can start going through the process of elimination. And someone mentioned earlier that what if your colon is slow moving? So you have to help it. And you thought about walking. It's like, that's why I used to say, I can't walk too far because every time I try to go on a walk, I got to hurry up and get back to the house to use the bathroom. And that's exactly what's happening. It's causing that, the waste to loosen up, and therefore the body is ready to eliminate it. And the other thing that I found out is that when you don't eliminate, when the body needs to eliminate, you cause the waste to become solid. And it's harder to eliminate.
Right. And that's constipation, it called that solid waste. And you can tell when you're constipated because you'd be pooping out little rabbit pellets, know. Yeah. And so, and then that can also adhere to the lining of your colon and start causing blockage, and it can cause that part of the colon to die. And you have to go in and have, some pretty major surgery. So, it's very important. And like Peggy was saying, you can, like, doing this, you can also knead your stomach like you're kneading dough, and that'll help push it. And if you think of your colon as a square, you have the ascending colon, and then you have the transverse colon. So if you start up, like on your right side, and just kind of like knead all the way across, and then pushes it down to the descending colon and then out. So, just kneading your stomach like you're kneading bread.
Mm-hmm. And just think about babies when we feel like that they're constipated. What we do, we take their little legs and we start working with them, and we start massaging their stomachs, to make sure that it's moving. It's the same thing that we need to be doing for ourselves, so it's amazing. And these are just nice, easy techniques that we can do without having to, not that you don't need to consult a doctor, don't get me wrong, but if you notice something is not right, then you start working on yourself as you're, contacting a doctor before you might not even be able to get to the doctor right away. So
right.
These are things that you can do at home. So
another one I want to throw in, and Amanda, you have explained this for me. I don't know where I got this from, but it's the posture. Mm-hmm. And so someone told me, it had to be a medical person, but someone told me to get like a little stool. Mm-hmm. And so I found the little stool that you would buy for a kid. It's like a little step stool that you'd buy for a kid to stand at the sink to brush their teeth or whatever. And so, because we have to press down, but again, people have different issues. And it's like, okay, maybe I'm a person who can't do a lot of pressing. So what I do is I put my feet on my stool. And so it puts me in a certain position. And so I find that it's easier for my body to then eliminate the stool. And so, Amanda, I know you can give the technical information about what's happening with my body when I do that, though. I'll throw it to you.
The poop stool.
The poop stool.
That's what it's called.
And that's
What was
yeah,
it called?
there's a company that actually manufactured the poop stool, and they talked about how many millions of dollars that they sold when it first came out.
It's
But they
called
also
poop
talk about if
stool.
you lean forward, then you're putting
Right.
the body on a slant.
Right.
And it's a little bit harder for the
Yes.
waste to be eliminated. Where if you're upright,
Yep.
Right.
then it's easy for it to be eliminated because you got that what would you call it? What is it, Amanda?
Oh, the gravitational pull.
Yeah, the gravity. Gravity is helping it.
Yeah. And then that poop stool helps like bring your knees up a little bit, and
Right.
and
Yep.
yeah,
It works.
kind of like pushing the baby out.
Look at Peggy's face. It works.
We started, Peggy.
It's the same. It's the
Hey,
same
listen, only
process.
on the Life Strategy Show do you get information like this.
So
One more
I
strategy.
have.
You'll know how long it's been since you've gone. Like
Yeah.
everybody ate Thanksgiving, but if you drink some beet juice first thing in the morning, and see how long it takes before you see that beet juice come out, and that'll let you know how many days worth of fecal material you have packed inside of you. So if it 2 to 3 days to see it, then you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good. That's
good. That's a
So
good
you're
check.
looking for the red color. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
You're looking for
yeah, you're looking for the red. So let's see how long it takes for that red color to come out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
that's a good tester right there. That I like that.
That's
Yeah.
easy to do.
Easy to do.
One of the things we have not talked about is sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep. And so what I would say to you is that sleep is like a non-negotiable for me personally. And it starts with turning off stuff at around 10:30 or so, especially if you get up early in the morning, cut off the electrical stuff and not have our body all ready to go right before we lay down. Because during sleep is when the body takes the time to repair itself and everything kind of resets, if you will. And so, some people say, well, you need 8 hours. Some people say, whatever. I would say, listen to your body, because for me personally, it's about 6.5 hours sleep. If I get less than that, I do okay. If I get more than that, I'm sluggish. So, do your own little sleep study. It's like, okay, if I go to bed this time and sleep this time, and then pay attention to how long it takes you to fall asleep. Right? How long it takes you to fall asleep. If you eat your meals at 8 or 9 o'clock and try to lay down at 12 o'clock, you are not getting sleep. Digestion will trump sleep every time. There's no rest when you eat meals late. So there's no rest when you eat meals late.
So give us I guess a range. So if you eat a 6 o'clock meal, you should be ready to go to bed by what? 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
4 hours. To take 4 hours for it to digest.
3 to 4 hours for it to just get to the point where it's not going to keep you awake.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's why they always say don't eat after 8 o'clock, huh?
Well, if you go to bed at 1 o'clock.
That's for the night owls. Yeah.
That's for the night owls, right?
Exactly. All right. Anything else, ladies? We're coming down to the wire. We got 5 minutes to go. Before rather than go into any additional strategies, what do you all have coming up? Because I know you have your websites posted. Some websites are there. Do you have any activities, any events that the general population needs to know about?
Yes, I want to close out on make sure I get this before we close out. Our disclaimer, even though these ladies are experts in what they do and they've researched all this stuff and it works for them, whoever's listening, make sure that you check with your doctor. If you go to our Gut Patrol page, we've got a disclaimer on there. You check with your doctor before you make any drastic changes on anything outside of common sense. Okay, don't be trying to sue us for nothing, okay?
We're not professing to be, I'm not professing to be a medical doctor.
Yes.
I don't think anyone else here is also. So that's what we're saying. Always check your doctor with your doctor before you make any changes to your regimen. Always have that conversation. Keep a note of what's going on with your body so that you'll be able to have that informed conversation with the doctor once you meet with the doctor. So that's important as well. So keep a journal of whatever's going on. And even write your questions down you want to ask the doctor.
Right.
Because that's a strategy to take into consideration as well. Because when we get in front of the doctor, everything is good.
Right.
As soon as we leave and get in the car, then that pain hits us again. And we forgot to mention it to the doctor. So you don't want that to happen. So, okay. Anybody else have anything coming up?
Wait a minute, I had two. Let me do my second one right quick.
Second one.
The Gut Patrol, we do have urban gardening coming up. Amanda was talking about she's a farmer. And so we do have an influencer who each week, I think it's on Saturday, Kimberly, she talks about backyard gardening. And so she'll be starting to talk soon about when you should start preparing for the spring.
Okay.
And Amanda talked about heirloom seeds. And so we got someone too that has heirloom seeds in his greenhouse. So he's a part of Bear, Amanda. And I ran into somebody else that's got some more information for us, but I can't tell everything. Okay. So you all go ahead and announce what you want to announce. I'm finished.
So we already had the vegan lady on last week, week before last. So she talked about the vegan way. But
And so the other thing Peggy didn't mention is our next Gut Patrol Health Fair in March. And we're going to have a special book that's coming out, as to help people remind people of getting their colonoscopies and what to look out for. And so that's the second week in March, Peggy?
Yeah, that's the date we have down, but I don't have confirmation for the site. That's why I didn't announce it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So watch out for the date. Just watch out for the announcement. So that will be forthcoming in the first part of the year. That way you put it on your calendar so you'll be able to attend.
Save the date.
Save the date.
Sometime in March.
Yes, I'm a part of a group called Take Back Your Health. And so we're kicking off in January. And the plan is to go to churches and talk to our people about what they need to do to take back their health. And if you're interested, just send me an email and we'll get you on the schedule.
Sounds good. Maybe I can join you in that because I do, I have diabetes, but diabetes does not have me.
I know that's right.
And, and then I also have the one that's called Kick Diabetes in the ASS. So
okay.
So that's taking back your health. I use diabetes as the platform, but it's all about a lifestyle change.
Yes, it is.
Because you make that lifestyle change and you're taking back your health no matter what illness that you have. You can take control over it opposed to it controlling you. So that's excellent. Well, ladies, I thank you so much for being here. Peggy, as you get closer to this the health fair, we might need to come back, have you all come back on, talk about it again, because the whole objective is to make individuals aware. It makes no sense we have all this knowledge and we're not able to share with individuals who need it. And the tips and techniques and the platinum nuggets you've given tonight, many of it does not cost anything. The things that you can do right there in the comforts of your home, even exercises. We had a lady on with us not too long ago that, did exercises in the chair. So it's not like you have to get up and get down. So those who cannot even just sit in the chair and do exercises. So there's a way to move and there's a way to do things that's cost effective and also that's going to help improve the body. So what we'll do is at the website, at the Facebook page, we're going to make sure that we give you links that you will be able to go in and be able to know how to connect with the Gut Patrol so that you can stay abreast as to everything that's going on. So this is going to do it for me tonight, ladies. Peggy, Gail, Amanda, Adretta. Did I pronounce it right? Adretta.
Yeah.
And Dr. Teresa, Dr. Smith, thank you, ladies, so much for being here. This has been a wealth of information. I trust that my viewing audience took notes. We're not going to give them all the information over again because if we summarize it and put it out there, they won't have a reason to listen to the video. We need them to listen to the video. So we need to be able to share this. Listen, this is going to Pod TV. .tv is going to Roku, is going to 122 countries. So this information is going worldwide. It just does not sit here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So thank you for being here. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this does it for me tonight. I have had a blast being with the Gut Patrol and these influencers. I trust you have as well. I believe in you, and I want to make sure you believe in yourself. So meet me back here next week, same time, same station, same place. Okay, see you then.
All right. Goodbye, ladies.
Bye-bye.